Hello, Hamish here from mortgagesonline.co.nz. Today we are talking to Dev and we're going to talk about land and build and we're going to talk about turnkey as well. Sat Sri Akal, Paji.
Sat Sri Akal ji.
So yeah, it's kind of attractive to build or buy new.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything you buy new, it's a different kind of feeling. So when it comes to, building a new house or buying a new house, it's always that kind of new touch, new paint and everything, new carpet, everything in there. When it comes to building a new house, usually there's two types of very popular contracts. One is turnkey option. Second one is land and build.
Yeah.
So
when you're buying, I guess.
When you're buying, yeah. So when you buy or you have a land and then you want to build a house, so that's the one option. Second option is a turnkey. Which you approach a developer. They already have a big land and they have subdivided the land into different sections and they already have proposed plans for the house design. So they do at different contracts. Let's say it's 5 to 10% deposit at the beginning, and later once the house is being built and on the settlement, the remainder price.
So you don't pay any interest until it's finished?
That's correct, and usually the turnkeys are slightly expensive than the land and build because the builder is funding the project from his pocket. So that's why it's usually expensive than when it comes to land and build. Usually with when you settle for the land and then building a house on it, you can have a different sort of contracts. One of them is progressive payments.
Yep.
So the amount you draw down, you're only going to pay the interest on that.
One thing, Dev, I guess with turnkey, the time frames are important to understand.
Absolutely. Even with both ways, time frame is key. What happens when it comes to, always there's a certain period of time, the approval lasts for maybe 6 to 12 months, years. So we got to make sure that this helps client when they buy the property that they can get the product within the time frame. So one of them is basically sunset clause. It's very helpful, so you can put a certain date in case if the product is not delivered within that time frame, so you can get your deposit back.
Cancel the contract, yeah.
Cancel the contract.
Sunset clause is really important. So talk to your lawyer about the sunset clause. Now, just, okay, so that's basically turnkey, right? So a couple of key components there.
Yeah.
Now, land and build, Dev, let's get into that.
Okay, so when it comes to land and build, so two options, either you have a land or you're looking to buy a land.
Yep.
And then building a dream house, or potentially you have some sort of how many bedrooms or houses that you want to. So you have a bit more controlled when
because
it comes
you
to build.
You settle on the land straight,
yeah.
And then you go and usually you organise some kind of a build contract.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be a package where they suggest a builder, and then you kind of progressively draw down the loan. The bank can help you to actually pay for the builder as you go. Yes,
correct. Usually there's a popular contract is fixed price contract. So some builders draft the contingency risk in there plus the cost overruns as well. So fixed price contract means a certain agreed price amount between you and the builder.
Yep.
When it comes to building
that can
house.
be a little bit more expensive but more important, especially when materials are going up, right?
Correct. And you when it comes to, you already have a land and you really don't know when they put a foundation, it could be an extra cost as well. Factor that in, the banks do a cost overrun assessment. So usually some banks to banks, they do 10 to 20%.
Yeah, you're right, Dev, they do. And I think the thing is, with the other thing to keep in mind is with the land and build, the time frames are a little bit better because you have control. So you grab the land, you're waiting for your consents, but you already own the land.
Correct.
You're paying interest on it as you go though as well, right?
Yeah,
That's the thing.
That's a good part as well, yeah. And plus, you can design from scratch. You don't have to agree with the developer when it comes to a turnkey. So obviously both have their own pros and cons. Yes.
I guess the other thing there is deposit levels. Surprisingly, even with a land and build, we can do it with as little as 10%
correct
deposit. Turnkey as well.
Yeah,
10%.
Usually 5 to 10% with a turnkey.
Yeah, I would just suggest something though. With a land and build, it's better to have too much money than too little, because things do escalate in terms of costs. So 10% is possible, but probably not recommended, I would say.
Correct, yes. So because you just want to have an extra buffer in your pocket for those unforeseen things that could occur while you go through the building. Through
the process.
Yeah.
But hey, look, thank you for that, Dev. I think that's been handy, and thank you guys for listening. Dev's obviously joined us just recently, so quite excited to be working with Dev.
Same here. Thank you, guys.
Cool. See ya.